abrofo ene ho nkomo na ye bedie se wo so ye benfo a na wo hwe na wotie ya ubetimi de wo number so aba na afro na yahwe se de Africa fo no si de bayi eye monima Otwinoko yasem beba so we call YouTube Otwinoko TV ho na stream live we call Facebook so Otwinoko Kamame ubetimi de voice na 0244 840108 0244 840108 so na online radio so Ajinkwa FM live ubetimi de afa ho na yabo enkomo intima ufidie no na ha ya yesi ye ne abaifo hima enene ye de bekasa macho mame mo live band bi na me mfanto to ase na bra ye ko nti guso aye arrangements nti ya hyasie mo share link no na yenko mo share link no and exclusive with the queen of witches which is queen and ye ne bekasa ye ma me friend said love ye ne be bon komo abaifo mu meeting omo ko eden so abrofo no omo ye niam bebre abrochire no omo ya abaifo ana di entini ya bebefo ye ntimi nye bibia ye se ya bebefo bayi omo de renam ene ye bebu samame no akirechire mu wan ne fata se oye baifo nti obetini nyina for Jumadie it was so free sabra coping some 9 ebebo nti ma ofidie ne na ha sei metie ne din just on na dwagin chaba and I'm sad as a friend and some I'm too sad and come here also for you so bobo into oniam for me na yehwe said ya by from see omodwuma e wa brochiri ene Ghana fo abaifo kwan ya mo fa so de baye edi dwuma e wo Ghana busu ni bi wa brochiri ntime kwa kokuru busu ni bi wa brochiri ntime dana mo kaka pe me koka na na wu busu ni bi atoka ntime ko nu na maka na konya accident nini awe de na manko na aye ntime ku wo mo radinga sakro fo wa nyina so kwa sorry I
If I isn't a man, come on, as Sunny lesson of me, but show must answer my toy. And to impress you, you can feel my Timothy, when you're having family too. You can go much hard to say. Don't see my foot is selling. I can't never change it. I can never change it. Come here, and me back. I can't say I got you. I can't stand for something. Come here, and me back. I can't never change it. I can't never change it. Come here, and me back.
For some medical catch them on you come from na yene maame before or himano ebe ekasa ewo eye agenkwa 101.9 so o hebre na asisi ya na me say don't go up meet aduno baako. It's almost 21 minutes after 1 and it's 21 minutes after 9 Eastern time, American to be precise, and we're going to speak with the queen of witches all over the world. She's live on a radio, and today we're going to discuss white witches and African witches, and we are going to draw the line in between why witches in Africa are not progressing and why witches in the Western world are progressing, talking about inventions and all that. We have Rev Love. She happens to be the queen of the witches. Somewhere 2019, she organized witches around the world to meet in Salem, which, I played part as a media man. I was the second person from Africa, and it was fantastic. And somewhere last year, the meeting couldn't come on, the conference, because of the COVID. And she's on the line to tell us much about witchcraft in the world. Hello, Doc. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me back to your show. And I don't know if I'm queen of the witches, but I will do my best to share with you what I know.
Interesting. It's been a long time. Where have you been?
It's been a very long time. I've been writing more books. So since you and I saw each other at the Christian Witches Convention in Salem during 2020 and 2021, while the world was in what I call a global meditation, I wrote 5 more books on witchcraft. So I have been writing books and publishing books.
That's wonderful. And before we set the ball rolling, would you mind to introduce yourself to the world at large? Thank you.
Thank you. I am Reverend Valerie Love, and I'm the author of over 20 books on practical spirituality, and I'm the founder of the Covenant of Christian Witches Mystery School and the Christian Witches Convention. And we have a global community of thousands and thousands and thousands of witches who still also love to read the Bible. Is that a good enough introduction?
Hello?
Yes.
Also,
are you hearing me okay?
Now it's okay. You were breaking. Would you mind to go back?
Yes. So I am Reverend Valerie Love, and I am the author of over 20 books on witchcraft and spirituality. And I'm the founder of the Covenant of Christian Witches Mystery School, as well as the Christian Witches Convention. And we have a global community, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of witches all over the world who practice Bible magic, who speak with angels, who do potions, who do healing. There are many, 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 many different kinds of witches in our global community.
That's great. How many of them do you know about witches? All that I know is African witch or wizards being practiced in Africa. That's all that I know. And you, how many do you know? And how did you know them?
Well, I knew I was a witch ever since I was a little girl because I saw many spirits when I was little. So I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know if to call it witch. That term was not used in our household as I was growing up. Yet later on, I discovered that my mother and grandmothers also were witches, and that we come from a very long line of witches. And I write about this in my book, 13 Signs You're a Witch. There are signs that you can tell if a person is a witch. And it's not anything like when they had the witch hunts and they looked on a person's body for a mole or for a physical scar of some kind. It doesn't work like that. The way that it works is, first of all, you know within yourself that you have powers. You either have powers of psychic powers, perhaps powers to heal people, powers to make potions that will heal people, powers with your hands that you can lay hands on people and with energy heal people. So there are many different powers of the witch. Some can see the future. Some can have dreams and tell you if people are pregnant. Some can do things to help protect the baby in the womb. Some can even raise the dead, and some can fly through the sky. So all of these are powers that witches have that can be developed and that can be used to help humanity. Now, all the witches that I know, we all help humanity with our gifts. I don't know any witches that are going around, hexing people, cursing people, making the man's, penis shrivel up and fall off, things like this. I don't know any witches like that. All of the witches that I know and that I work with, we are here to help humanity with magic.
Wow, I'm scared. I don't know what to say. In your case, when you grew up as a child, living with your mom and grandma, as you rightly said, it looks like from the lineage, from your grandma, your mom, and you and other siblings are witches. How was it like in your environment or your area where you stay? How was it like?
Well, okay, good question. Well, I grew up in Harlem, in New York City. And when I speak of my lineage, it goes all the way back to two places. It goes all the way back to Africa, in the area of Benin and Togo, where more you have Vodou, yes? And then also my lineage goes all the way back to Scotland, believe it or not. And in Scotland, the witches and the magic were of the Druids. So this is my lineage with magic. And magic travels in your blood. even though you don't have to be a born witch, yet I do find that people who are drawn to magic, they have some kind of magic in their bloodline. And that is the most powerful magic. So because I have magic from Africa, and I also have magic from Scotland, this is very, very, very powerful magic. And that's why people really want to find out about their heritage and maybe do ancestry or have their DNA taken and examined so that people can tell them where their people are from, so that they can understand what kind of magic is in their blood. And all of these people were practicing magic. So I'll give you some examples. My grandmother did not take us to any doctors. Everything that happened, you get sick, she would look at you, she would feel you, she would know what was going on, and she would go in the kitchen and make a potion. She would make a potion from natural things, from onion, honey, lemon, garlic, herbs, golden seal. She used wheat germ. She used chamomile. She had many, many, many herbs, all these natural things at her disposal that she would use, and she knew what to use for each one. So she knew what to do with a stomach ache or this. And this was passed to her from her mother and from her mother. They also knew how to read the energy of plants. So you may know that I do global retreats, and I take people all over the world. And one of the places we go to, and we have been many times, is to Peru. And we go to Peru for plant medicine. Just like they have plant medicine in Africa, Ibogaine, they have plant medicine in Peru that comes out of the Amazon forest, which is ayahuasca. And they also have their San Pedro. These are sacred plants. And because all these plants are so powerful, and because they have spiritual energy, they must be handled by people who have knowledge of this plant medicine. It's called plant medicine or a plant teacher. So my grandmothers and my great-grandmothers, they all had the knowledge of the plant medicine, and as do I. So when I went to Peru, they gave the shaman there in the rituals, gave me a new name because they recognized Mother Ayahuasca told them that I was also a plant healer. I have always had plants. I love nature. I have many plants right now. I was in the middle of New York City in Harlem. They call it the concrete jungle. And I had all these plants growing in my room. I didn't know why. I was just doing it naturally. I did not understand later that I was a sacred plant medicine healer and teacher. So that's just one example. Now my mother was what they call a stitch witch. There's different kinds of witches. You have a kitchen witch, and you probably know a kitchen witch or know many kitchen witches, because kitchen witches can go into the kitchen and they swirl around and they make the food, and it seems like there was nothing in the refrigerator, and all of a sudden before you there's a feast. This is a specific kind of magic, but people don't understand that they're using magic with these things. There is the stitch witch. A stitch witch is a witch that can make things out of crochet, knitting, sewing. And I'm not saying that every person who knows how to crochet is a stitch witch. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is a very specific witch that is called a stitch witch, and this was my mother. So my mother was a stitch witch, and you could say that her wands were things like the knitting needles, the crochet hook, the sewing needles. She was with the needles and the wands all the time, and every time you looked up, she made something. One time she made a pair of boots, and we could not understand how she was able to make these things. That was not my magic. That was her magic. There are many, many, many kinds of witches. There are potion witches that can make potions. This was another one of my grandmothers who was a potions master, and she was also a kitchen witch. And she made the potion from what they call pot liquor. And pot liquor is when you take many greens, like turnip greens, collard greens, and you cook it together with the seasonings, and when you finish cooking it, you have this green liquor in the pot after you eat all the greens. And this was called pot liquor. And you drank, if you were sick, they saved it because it was like an elixir, a healing elixir. that if you drank this pot liquor, now not everyone can make it so that it heals you. Please understand this is energy. You drink the pot liquor, and then all of a sudden you feel better, you're energized, and you're well. This is all energy, and witches understand and use energy.
So if I get you right, as a witch, you don't believe in orthodox medicine, but you believe in herbs. Is that correct?
Say that again?
As a witch, you don't believe in orthodox medicine, but you believe in herbs. Is that correct?
I believe in all of it, because I have seen many, many, many different things. Now, what I practice is personal to me, right? So each witch is different. So while I do not believe in a devil, and I do not at all have anything to do with the devil, there are people that believe that. I respect their beliefs. Everyone gets to choose their own beliefs. I do not hex people, yet I understand that there are people who hex people, and here is how it works. The only way that you can be hexed is if you believe in that power and that it can get you. You can become a person that can never be hexed because you do not give it any of your mental energy and any of your own power. So nothing can get you from the outside. You must know who you are. Ye are gods. And you must understand your divine heritage and your divine nature. And then you would not be afraid of witch hexing you. This is all fear-based. And it has existed for a very long time with regard to witches. Now, witches are the oldest known creature in humanity. You go back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, every culture has witches. Every story has witches. Why? Because witch is one of the most enduring. Everywhere you look, you will find witches. Now, sometimes the witches are hiding because people treat them in a hostile fashion or manner. Why? Because fear. Humans are afraid of people that have power. It's just fear. It's fear-based.
Wow. There's another question here, and I hope you answer me diligently. Do you believe some are born to be witch, or you can also learn to be a witch? If indeed we learn it, and being witch queen, what are the process for someone to become a witch? If I want to be part of the game, what are the process, and who qualifies to be a witch?
This is very fascinating, because I myself, as I write in my books, I do believe that people are born a witch.
Everybody?
This is what I mean about
You're talking everybody born to be a witch? Everybody?
No. The people that are witches,
okay,
I believe, are born to be witches. Okay. And here's why. You may not know it when you're born. Yet, if you grow up, and let's say you're 15, you're 16, you're 17, you're 20, and you start to become interested in magic, and you're curious, and you are drawn to it. Why is that? It is probably because somewhere in your blood is magic. You see, magic lives in the blood, and blood is the sacred fluid of the witch. When we have initiations, it's a blood initiation. I can't go into all the details of it because much of it is secret. It does involve blood. And even witches know that their menstrual blood is very powerful and potent. As a matter of fact, many slaves would use their menstrual blood on their slave masters, and because they were cooking the food. So they would put their own menstrual blood in the slave master's food. In Jamaica, the Obeah man, you may take some of your menstrual blood and mix it with a potion, makes a potion for a man not to leave the woman, that he will have to be with her forever, right? Because they're like an oil of don't leave me or don't leave me potion. These are just some examples of how people use blood. So blood is extremely powerful. And even if you don't think you're a born witch, maybe you don't think, my mother wasn't a witch, I'm not a born witch. Maybe if you are being drawn to witchcraft and magic and crystals and energy healing. You may have magic in your blood, which would still classify you as what I would call a born witch, and that you came in with these powers and maybe you haven't discovered them yet. Now, that's my own sacred knowing. Every witch is different. This is not a religion, and everyone doesn't have to see things the same way as I do. I'm speaking from my own personal experience, that every witch that I have met, and I know a lot of witches, they carry powerful magic, and one day the magic wakes up. The magic was in their blood all along. One day maybe they have some kind of big problem, or maybe they're under great stress in their life, and then the magic begins to wake up, and it starts to call them to crystals, calls them to pick up the books about witchcraft, go to a ritual in the woods, go do something that would be helping them with initiation. You know, these things are not random. You don't just pick up one day and say, I think I'll be a witch. I mean, it's too hard to be a witch. Who would just pick up one day and say, I think I want to be a witch today? I don't know anyone that says that.
Wow. Let me also tell you much about African witches. I've read a lot about African witches and also the Western, witches. But let's talk about African witches. We understand, or we're made to believe that the African witches congregate under trees in the night hours when all creatures seems to be dead. Okay? They can fly. They can do all sorts of things. They can even evoke human spirits. They kill them. They eat them. So we understand they eat human flesh and drink blood. What is that of Western, witches? Do you do the same? Have you heard this about African witches, as I rightly said?
I have heard this, and this is actually, thank you for sharing this. This is actually a very old story. And you find this story not just in Africa. You find this story around the world, including Europe. You find this story in early America. You find this story in many places. And what is the story? The story is, part of the story is, that the witch is somehow the consort or the wife or the girlfriend, let's say, of the devil, right? And that the witch has a familiar. In other words, some kind of little animal, like a cat or a badger or something that looks like a little squirrel. And this little animal goes and does her bidding at night. Maybe it can morph into something else, shape-shifting. And she has something on her body that will feed this little familiar. And the familiar, so all they were looking for during the witch trials is some kind of sign, like a tip, like when you feed a baby, you nurse a baby, where there's something on the witch, supposedly, that feeds this familiar. Then they also said that the witch will take the babies and eat the babies, and that at night they go to their orgies and they dance under the moon, and they have sex with the devil, they have orgies, they have feasts, they drink human flesh, eat the babies, and go off and do all kinds of strange things, including aborting fetuses and making sure that people can't have children or stealing babies. You see, all of these have a root. There is a point where this was made up. What was the root, and why was this made up? Why was this story made up? Because there are, like all stories, there's something true about it, right? No story that keeps living and endures for thousands of years is completely a lie. So there is something to this story. But what was it? Well, it is true that a witch, I write about it in my book, 13 Signs of a Witch, I write about it in there, that a witch is a midwife, which means she can bring babies into the world, and she understands how to bring the babies into the world. And that is because the witch is at what we call the liminal space. The witch lives in the space between the living, the world that we walk around in, and the other world, the other dimensions. So this is the dimensions where the dead are, where all these others. So the witch is right in between, like a gatekeeper between these two worlds. And so witches know about all these other things in these other worlds, just naturally, like demons and all of that. I mean, I've seen all of that. It doesn't concern me, because I understand that there is much more to this whole universe than just this third dimensional world that we're accustomed to, that we can ascertain with our five senses. There's so much more than that. So it never concerned me that there were demons, that there are all of these different kinds of spirits. Well, because a witch is able to command demons, then people will think, oh, well, she must be working with the demons. And if you remember, and if you read your Bible, they said the exact same thing about Christ. They said, you are only able to expel demons by the power of Beelzebub, because how else would you be able to communicate with demons, as he did with the man the man who had lost his mind because he had a legion of demons that had taken over him, and he lived among the tombs, the catacombs. And when Christ approached him, the demons cried out, yes, what have we to do with you? You are the Son of Man. And he told them, silence, don't tell people who I am. And he said, what is your name? So here Jesus was having a conversation with not just one demon, a legion of demons, and asked them, and they were responding to him, and they knew who he was before he approached. They saw him first before the man did, and they recognized him because they recognized his spiritual power and authority. And they said, we are legion, for there are many of us, and we know the story that he cast them out, and that the man, next time they saw the man, they couldn't even walk near this man because they had tried to shame this man, and no matter what manner of chains they put on this man was able to break out. How? By the supernatural power. And we've all seen this. We all know these things are so. There's nothing strange about it. This is how the universe works. There's many kinds of energies in the universe and many kinds of beings in the universe. Well, when they came back later, the man was sitting there having a meal with Christ, completely in his right mind, no more habitated by a legion of demons. So as we have many stories about this. We know the story of the man who had a son, and sometimes, Jesus asked, the man said, please help my son because this demon has control of him, and sometimes he hurls him into a fire, but sometimes he hurls him in the water. Sometimes he tries to drown him, and sometimes he tries to burn him. And Jesus said, how long has this been going on? And so what is he doing? He was talking to the man, and he was ascertaining what was going on, how long this was going on, so that he could ascertain what kind of demon is this, where did it come from. Jesus knew a lot about demons. So he was not doing this by the power of Beelzebub. He was doing this, as we know, because he has the power of God, and the power of God works with everything. The power of God works with demons too. And one of the most powerful things you could do with a demon is either the cross, or the Lord's Prayer, or the 23rd Psalm. You keep saying the 23rd Psalm over and over and over again. No demon can live with that. No demon can live with the Hail Mary over and over and over again, or the cross, or holy water. We all know these things. So because witches are very clear about all these things, they know about demons just like Christ, they're not afraid of them. So now that grew into, oh my goodness, they must be with the devil. They must be doing the bidding of the devil. And why were they killed? Why were 40,000 to 60,000 witches killed all over the world, in Europe and in early America? Why did this occur? And why there are witch camps in Ghana? I'm sure the same reason is because they took the elements of the story, like witches know about demons and be able to talk to demons, and turned that into, oh, these witches are the consort of the devil, and they are doing the holy work. They're doing the work of the devil on the earth against the holy work of the church. Therefore, they represent a threat to the church. Can you imagine that? Village women that are a threat to the church. This is nothing but fear. We have to kill them, because otherwise, this is a holy war. They took it as a holy war, like a jihad. And we are going to now kill all these women, because if we don't kill them, the devil is going to take over the church on earth, and the whole earth will belong to the devil. Now, this is bizarre, fear-based thinking, just run amok. And how did it end? it began to end because some judges and some attorneys, lawyers, started to say, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but no one has brought us proof yet that these witches are with the devil in the woods at night. No one has brought us proof yet that this person died because the witch hexed them. And because they could not present 100% irrefutable truth of the fact, then it began to die out because people had some logic and started to say, hey, we're not going to keep doing this because it's not provable. Now, they didn't say it didn't happen. They just said it's not provable, so therefore we're not going to keep killing people over there. So eventually it died out. Yet the fear of the witch did not die. It still is in the deep unconscious of many human people. And to complete this thought is that because people do not understand the powers of the witch, how is this witch be able to be in one place and in another place so swiftly? She must be flying through the air. How is this witch able to birth this baby? She knew exactly how to birth this baby. Oh my goodness. She must be dangerous. How is this woman, when she walks by the house, somebody died inside the house? Oh, this is horrible. You see, so people understand the power, but then they distort it to suit their fear and then go on the attack.
That's great. The narratives makes the story so delightful. And I've got, a couple of messages here. Some people want to join the race, as witchcraft. So at the right time, I'll give you their numbers or the email so that you talk to them. A quick one. As you rightly said, almost 40,000 or more witches and wizards were killed in Europe. It reminds me of the story that I read about Nazi revolution in Germany. And also Salem, some were sent to court, found guilty and hanged, as you know. Don't you think this revolution against witches can also come back? Do you have such a sentiment that one day people will go out chasing witches like you? Do you have any dream of such thing?
I don't have any concern for that because I know who I walk with. I walk with the power of God. So I don't have any concern with that at all. I have many Bibles. I have many angels around me.
Just a moment. How come a witch, walk side by side with Jesus Christ? Because I've been listening to you all time mentioning the name of Jesus and God and all that. Do you believe in the Bible? Do you believe in Christ? Do you believe in the resurrection and also the second coming of Jesus Christ as a witch?
I do not believe in the story that humans have made up about the Bible. So people have made up many stories. They've made up hell. Hell is an invention. Hell is not true. It is not reality. It is invention. And the way that people can find out that hell is an invention of humans used to control humans and keep people in fear, so you will do exactly what the church tells you to do. I do not believe in a hell. I have no evidence for hell. And if you do the research, you will find that in the Holy Bible, in the Hebrew Bible, there is no word of hell whatsoever. There was a word called Sheol, and that word simply meant the grave. If you read the entire Hebrew Bible, it says that we go to the dust. From the dust you came, and you return to the dust. There is no mention of hell whatsoever in the entire Old Testament. Read it through and find where there is a hell. You will not find it. What happened? Eventually, people began to morph the ideas of hell because there was a place called Tartarus, or there was a burning, like a volcanic place, not far from where they were, the Greeks and whatnot, and they began to spin the story of hell. People made up the story of hell, and people have to understand that humans made up many of the things that they believe. They believe that if you do something bad, God is going to send you to hell, yet this God is God created you, and this God is love, and that you were only alive for maybe 70 or 80 years, and even if you did bad for 80 years, okay, maybe 80 years in hell, that would be equal, and then you get a fresh start. But no, this supposed God, even if you were bad for 75 or 80 years, you're going to be in hell forever. Now, that's not even common sense. And this is what I knew. When I had my first child, I knew that hell was an impossibility, because I'm going to speak to every parent out there. Any of your children, if they were bad, could there be anything your child would do that you would take their hand and even for 1 minute put it in a fire and say, I'm going to burn you? There is no sane parent on the planet that would ever think that that is a just punishment for anything that your children could do. I could never bring that kind of harm to any of my children. I couldn't even think about it. It's unfathomable. And then yet they tell us God is love. It doesn't match. So you want to read the Old Testament, and you want to read the New Testament, and you want to study, and you want to do your research. And I've done a video about this on my YouTube channel, The Origins of Hell. Where did hell come from? And you can simply do your research and find out that hell was created, it was invented by humans, and that it is used as a fear-based mechanism to keep people in control, keep them coming to church, keep them giving the money. See, churches and all these places that witches, we don't usually do churches and things like that, because witches are usually an independent kind of person, male, female, or other. It's not the kind of person that follows along with the crowd. Most witches, they're doing their own thing. So they would consider already sort of like a black sheep or outcast or weird or strange. Well, these churches, all institutions, the churches, the medical establishment, the government, they need energy. They're vampires. They need energy. What is the energy that they need? They need humans. They need people. If all the people didn't go to church, the church would be gone. The church needs the people. The people don't need the church, because Christ already said that within you, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Isn't that what Christ said? He said it. It's right in the Bible. That all the power is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and people think that it's not. People think they need a savior, and people think that they need to go to a church, and they think they need a pastor and a priest and all this, and you don't. Witches know this. Well, because they need the energy of all the people coming to church every Sunday, bring the tithes and offerings, bring more people. And by the way, Christianity as it is taught, not the way I practice Christianity, because I am a Christian, which I believe in Christ, but not the way that people teach it in church. More like a Gnostic way of looking at Christ, about you becoming a fully realized being, you becoming a Christ, because that's what Christ told people, that even greater works than these shall you do. Not that you're going to be dependent upon a church. But all these churches, if they didn't have the people coming, it would be over. The church would end. All these institutions need the energy, the money, the attention of the people. That's where they're getting their energy from.
Good. I'm baffled here. As a witch, you believe in the Bible, or you don't believe in the Bible? Do you believe in the Bible?
Yes, I use the Bible.
Do you believe?
I don't believe that the Bible is literal. Let me clarify.
You said you believe in the Bible. The Bible is being divided into two. We have the Old Testament and we have the New. Which one do you believe in? The Old and the New. Which one do you believe?
Oh, good question. I read the Old Testament, I read the New Testament, I read the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha are the books that did not make it into the Bible canon of 66 books. So I also read the Apocrypha, like the book of Tobit and the Maccabees. I was also reading this morning the Apocryphon of John, or the Secret Teachings of John, or the Secret Book of John, which is also a book that is not in the 66 books of the Holy Bible. So I'm going to tell you how I use the Bible. I use the Bible for magic. In Psalms, the entire book of Psalms, you can find some amazing magic in there. You can find amazing magic throughout the whole Bible. Here's how I use the Bible. I use the Bible as a...
Sorry. Would you mind to repeat that point again? What do you use the Bible for? Can you repeat that again?
I use the Bible for magic.
Magic?
Yes. I use the Bible for
magic. Would you mind to explain it further? What kind of magic do you use the Bible for?
Magic means, so it will help us, right, if we understand what we're talking about when we say magic. What is that? Magic means you are going to change something or you are going to create something. So in other words, someone is ill and you are going to change that person to being well. Or you're going to do some kind of creation. And you're doing this intentionally from inside yourself. You're going to create a new house, let's say. Or you're going to create a retreat center. Or you're going to create a family. Anything. People are doing magic all the time. Magic is part of this whole universe. There's nothing strange, and it is an energy in the universe, just like electricity, gravity, electromagnetism. All of these are energies in the universe. Magic is an energy in the universe. It's really available to everyone. Very few people use it consciously. Witches already are born already knowing how to use the magic. It just naturally happens. It's very natural.
Do you also believe? Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So if I want to heal someone, aren't there many healings in the Bible? Couldn't I go to the Bible to learn how to heal people? Of course I can. That is magic. What is it when Christ told the man who was laying by the pool for 30 plus years, what is going on with you? Do you want to be made well? And the man said, I want to be made well, but he came up with excuses. Every time I get ready to get in the water, the angel comes down every day and troubles the water. What is that? That is angel magic. The angel comes down every day and troubles the water, but I can't get in because everyone rushes ahead of me. But this man has been sitting there for 30-some years lying there. He said, pick up your cot and walk. And in that instant, the man was healed. He picked up his cot and he walked away. He didn't even need the water or the pool or the angel, because you have all the power within yourself. Magic is very similar to, if you have ever watched The Wizard of Oz, you will see a very powerful magic moment in there. It has a lot of magic in it. But here's the magic I'm talking about. At the end, when Dorothy was trying to get to the wizard and she found out that the wizard was just a hoax, the good witch Glinda appeared to her and told her, you have the power to take yourself home. Just click your heels three times and you'll be home. The witch told her, you have all the power within yourself, because the witch already was in touch with her own power within herself. Every witch knows very clearly about the power within yourself and can tell other people, you have the power within yourself, get up and do it. That is the exact same thing Jesus did. And the Jews even said that Jesus was a sorcerer. The Jewish, in the I believe it's the Talmud, in the Jews, the book written by the Jews, they say that Jesus was arrested and sentenced because he was a sorcerer and because he incited people to worship other gods, gods with an S, not just one almighty God, gods. So there you have it. So I use the Bible. I use the Bible, the Apocrypha, and I also use the Pseudepigrapha. The Pseudepigrapha are like the books of Enoch. We also have the lost books of Adam and Eve. We also have the book of Mary, the Gospel of Mary. Not only Mary Magdalene, but also do we know that Mary, Jesus' mother, was also miraculously birthed, and that she, when she was weaned, they took her and gave her to the temple. And in the temple, she lived there in the temple from about 3 to about 13 or 14 when she was going to get her menses, her monthly cycle of women. Because she couldn't stay in the temple once you get your monthly cycle of women. She was living in the temple, and the priest in the temple never fed her, it says in this book, because she was fed by the hand of the angels. The angels bought Mother Mary her food every day. She ate the food of the angels. She was able to go into the most holy of the temple. She spoke with angels. So when the angel spoke to her and said, hail thee most favorite among women, or greeted her, She was wondering what the greeting meant because she was accustomed to talking to angels. This wasn't the first time she talked to an angel, but you would know that if you only went to church and read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and not any of the many other gospels that exist that they've even pulled out of the earth and the Dead Sea Scrolls. And what I was reading earlier was the Nag Hammadi Library. If you read all these things, you'll see it. You'll see it for yourself.
That's great. About the books, the number of books that you've mentioned, are they open on the market or on the line? Are they easy to grab? 2, do we have a specific rituals that we performed when you have the books and maybe you start to read them? Do you have some rituals to perform? Lighten candles, use cologne, hot ones, maybe to invoke spirits before you read? Question 3. I have, interviewed a lot of spiritualists. They all believe in Bible. And I also have perception that maybe it's a peculiar way that you have adopted to, change the spectrum of Christianity. Like Antichrist, that's what they've been saying. As a witch, you've been reading the Bible, all the books written to support the Bible history, you know them. But most Christians, they do not know. They don't read them. So it looks like you being a witch, you are enlightened more than the so-called ministers of God. Why? What is it for? Apart from the magic, what for? Do you have any plan to maybe establish something similar to church so that maybe Christianity will convert them into your group in a nutshell, which is not the Christian, values? Do you get my point here?
Yes. It's an excellent question. So yes, let me answer all of these questions. So first, I will direct the audience to what is called the Apocrypha. And you can maybe put it under the video too, the Apocrypha, because there are some Bibles. You can buy the Bible with the Apocrypha. And you can even find this right on Amazon. These books are not secret. And then if you want to read things like the Lost Books of the Bible, that is actually a book. I bought it right in Barnes & Noble. It's readily available. So you can buy the book called The Lost Books of the Bible. And then what you're going to read about is you're going to read about Adam and Eve and what happened when they left the cave of treasures. You're going to read all about what happened at the birth of Cain and Abel. You're going to read that the angels were coming down and they were attending the first birth because Eve didn't even know what it was to be pregnant because she never experienced anything like this, and she certainly didn't know how to birth the baby. And the angels came and they were the midwives for the first human birth. Then you're also going to read about the cave of treasures where Adam and Eve were hiding after they left the Garden of Eden. Then you're also going to read about what happened with Adam and how the angels taught them how to shroud Adam, wrap him in the grave clothes, and to dig in the dirt and bury him. See, all of this was information, wisdom that was beyond the human intellect because we didn't know how to do any of these things. Well, you will find all of that and far more in the Lost Books of the Bible. And if you also want to understand more, you go to pseudepigrapha.com. Pseudepigrapha.com is spelled P as in Peter, S is in Sam, E is in Edward, U is in under, D is in dog, I is, I think it's E or I. E comes next. Grapha, Grapha. I believe that's how you pronounce it, how you spell it. My spelling may be off by 1 or 2 letters. Pseudepigrapha.com. Even if you just put it in the search, pseudepigrapha, just start typing it. PSEUD, it will come up. And you go to pseudepigrapha.com, and once you go there, right online, you can read all of these books. You can read the Maccabees. You can read the Lost Books of Adam and Eve. You can read the books of Enoch. What I'm saying to you is the 66 books that are in the Bible are the minority. That there are more books that have been written that were ever shown to human beings. And now that we have the revelation of the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Nag Hammadi Library, you are now able to read all these things online. And I don't understand why people wouldn't read them. Why wouldn't you read it? And yes, we do have Christian Witches Church. We had the first Christian Witches Church service at the Christian Witches Convention. The next Christian Witches, and we also now have Christian Witches Church service every Sunday on Clubhouse. Anyone can come. We record the church service, and we have it on Sunday nights, every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The recording from that Clubhouse room of our Christian Witches Church service goes live on the Christian Witches podcast. And also we have church service in person coming up at the Christian Witches Convention. So we do it virtually now, and when we have our events, we do it in person at the Christian Witches Convention. So yes, there are many people, thousands of people who have come from Christianity, and they are seeing the light that maybe you don't need to throw the Bible away. Maybe you can use the Bible, and as you were speaking of, you can call on the entities in the Bible, like the angels, especially the 4 archangels that we work with all the time, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, and Michael, these 4 mighty archangels of the presence. It gives you the names of the angels in the Bible. You can certainly call on them, and it tells you the instances when these angels appeared, and that these angels are messengers, and they're bringing you a message. Many people have spoken with angels. It is not strange at all. It is your human right as a divine being. You're human and divine at the same time. It is your right to speak with angels. And it said that you can even command angels. That's what it said. So yes, we read the Bible. I use the Bible. Many witches I know use the Bible. And I'll tell you this, there are many entities that know the Bible. Don't demons and spirits know the Bible? So you would want to know what you're talking about and what you're doing if you come across some of these greater demons, because if you were one to cast them out, you would have to know the power by which to cast them out, and you would also have to be in a position spiritually that you can do so. Many times I've done this. Why? Because you have to be granted a spiritual authority by God. This is a gifting from God. And you must also align with that gifting. So you must be in prayer, fasting, meditation. All these things that they tell you in Christianity and every religion, these things are true. That fasting can purify you. That prayer is going to lift your mind and your consciousness. So yes, all of this can be done with the Bible, and even more than the books of the Bible if you go and you study.
Wow. Well, in my view, it looks like this is another version of Christianity. That's okay, and you are the head. And 2, where can the church be located in America? Do you do it on online? Is it online, or you have a particular place where you have your building that people can come through and worship?
Well, eventually we will have a building. Right now we're online, and we're online. You can find us online everywhere. So on Facebook, you see Christian Witches. That has almost 10,000 Christian Witches there. I have my YouTube channel, over 50,000 people on my YouTube channel. On my Instagram, it's the Christian Witches Instagram, over 4,000 Christian Witches on the Christian Witches Instagram. And then you see many people that come to the mystery school. We are about to start our new year for 2022 with the new students coming in from January to December. They will be initiated in December of 2022. We have some witches that were already initiated just a few months ago, and we have another witch that's going to be initiated this coming December on the winter solstice. So we do our initiations on holy days. And then we will have our Christian Witches Convention, where we invite all the Christian witches from all over to come to New Orleans so that we can all come together in fellowship. And we will have church service there on Sunday morning. The Christian Witches Convention starts on Thursday, Ascension Day, because Ascension Day is the day Christ ascended to heaven after 40 days of appearing to the apostles, according to the story as the story is told. And I want to say something else, too, about people, because a lot of people, I hear a lot of this on YouTube and in different places. Jesus didn't exist. There's no such thing as history. The Bible's not about history. I'm not studying the Bible for history. I have history books to study for history. When I look at the Bible, I don't care if Abraham actually existed or not, even though we have proof Abraham existed. I don't need to know that the Bible is historical. That's not why I'm using the Bible. I'm using the Bible for spiritual purposes. People do not understand the Bible is energy. It is a manual of energy that's super powerful, and it is a doorway. That's why billions of people have it. Even people that are not Christian, they still have it. That's why they still keep putting the Bible in the drawer in all of these hotel rooms. People are not reading it. People are doing all kinds of things in those hotel rooms. They're not thinking about the Bible, yet the Bible is there. Why? Because it's energy, and these are keys that are in the Bible that unlock portals, energetic portals, and if you understand how to use it, you will be very powerful.
Wow. I'm much interested in the school. You said the next academic year will start somewhere December, and there will be initiation. Who qualifies to be a student of that school? And what are the benefits after completion?
Excellent. Well, it's a magic school that helps you to develop your own magical powers and abilities. It's just like if people look at the Harry Potter school. You know, even though this is a made-up school, it's similar to our school because it's a school of magic. Now, you already have powers. You don't know how to use the powers. You don't know how to direct the powers. You haven't meditated and mastered the powers yet. And so now you're going to master them. You're going to become very intentional about it. The qualification to get into the school is very simple. It is according to your willingness and according to your calling. I, myself, hold the notion or the knowing that this is a calling from God. This is source calling to you from deep within yourself, because that's how it happens for me. It is all divine. And so people have a calling to it, like ministry or to help people or to make potions or to use the earth or use crystals. This is all divine. Now, of course, some people can use it for other things, and everybody's free to do whatever they want to do. It's complete freedom in the universe. And the universe doesn't have any judgment of good or evil. It just is. Everything simply is. Judgments make it good or not good. It simply is. So when we are in the mystery school, we are helping the students through spiritual beings. We do chanting. I can't say everything that we do because, of course, much of it is for students only. We do chanting, we do rituals, and we do rituals out in nature. So we will go out in the nighttime, and it is true that witches are out in the woods at night, or doing fire rituals or water rituals, earth rituals, or air rituals. These are 4 elements. And so, yes, we do rituals. We will have a retreat coming up at the winter solstice. It's an event that we will be having on Virginia Beach, and we will be having a ritual there. And people have already started registering to come to this event so that they can be in the ritual. Then we will be wearing all white. We will have the candles. We will have our other ritual items. And you will have a ritual on Virginia Beach with the ocean mother, the water element, and we're also going to initiate another one of our witches there who has graduated from the school. So it's going wonderfully.
So how many years or month will it take a student to complete the said course?
Say that again for me one more time so I make sure I understand the question clearly.
Does it take a year or more to complete the said course in the school?
Yes. So it takes a year to be initiated. So the initiation is similar to if a person were to be initiated in Santeria or Ifa or Yoruba or Akan. It's a period where you go through, we call it the trials of initiation. You're learning, you're changing your consciousness, you're ascending, you're practicing your spiritual practices. And then at the end of the year, you are initiated. Usually we also have some kind of plant medicine, like either ayahuasca or San Pedro or mushrooms, where they are legal. So we will be going for our spring equinox, we will be going to the Bahamas for that ritual for the spring equinox. Last year we went to Mexico, to the ancient city of Chichen Itza, one of the 7 wonders of the world, because the ancient god Kukulkan descends every spring equinox, and that place is charged with a lot of spiritual power. So we're going to the Bahamas for the spring equinox in 2022 for plant medicine, where we'll be doing magic mushrooms, because this is, once again, plant healing, plant medicine, to help people expand their consciousness, get rid of trauma. This is not medical advice by any means. If you feel called to it, the plants can help you. Medicine is in plants. Okay, medicine is in many places, and one of the places where God put medicine for human beings is in the plant, and even the dog knows this because when they're sick, they know exactly what plant to eat to settle their stomach or to get better.
That's great. My last question, so that we take you call off the program. When you go on the internet, especially your social media handles, the kind of post that people brings on board, do they involve backlashes? If you could share some with us, backlashes from the Christian fraternity.
It concerns me not at all. I have zero concern about that because they do the same thing with Christ.
Do you see them? Do you see them? Do you read them?
No, I don't read them. Why should I?
Why is that you don't read them? We learn more from, we learn something from our mistakes, or we learn from criticisms than that of praises. Okay? That's what you love to do, and you have passion for it. And some people are against it. So they write to you. I've read a lot of comments about you. I just want you to come out and tell us boldly. I know you are an honest person. How do you feel? Or your secretary will do the reading. At all costs, they will tell you some of the backlashes from the Christian fraternity.
I actually think it's kind of funny.
I love that point.
You know why I think it's funny? I think it's kind of funny because why am I such a threat? And who would spend their time writing a blog post about someone else? I don't spend any time writing a blog post about someone else. I spend a blog post writing about what I'm teaching about, what I'm bringing to the planet, with the inspiration that God gave me. So by the very fact that they're so consumed about what I'm doing, I think it's very comical, first of all. Second of all, they have put me on many false prophet lists, things like that. I hear it here and there. Here and there people say, oh my goodness, they put you on one of these false prophet lists. And I laugh. Like, who would keep a list of false prophets? Like, what sense does that make? Supposedly to protect your people from what? Have I showed up at your door to do anything to you? I mean, these people, maybe they have nothing better to do. Maybe some of them are rightly concerned because they're afraid. Maybe some of them think that they're actually doing the work of God. That's what they think. But didn't the people that got Jesus also think that they were doing the will of God?
Wow.
Didn't the people who went to holy wars thought that they were doing the will of God? Didn't people who killed 40,000 to 60,000, mostly women, many who were not witches, didn't they think they were doing the will of God? So that will of God does not hold much water with me at all. I'm not concerned about them. I sleep very well at night.
Do you know what? 2019, after the conference, when I came to Ghana, I saw a video from a Nigerian pastor. It was going viral. And he was saying like, oh, this rev, this Satan, this demon, I break you in the name of Jesus. I condemn you. You will die. You will die. You will die. You will never live to see next year. I command you in the name of Jesus. But I thought you were gone, but you are still kicking. What has been your secret?
I walk with God. The same secret that Jesus had, Moses, Abraham, all of them. People can see, if they read the Bible, and if they read history, and if they study, they will see that history continues to repeat themselves because humans keep doing the same things over and over again until we heal it. We keep being afraid. We keep believing things that are not true. It is very easy to debunk all of this by doing three things. 1, critical thinking. 2, research. And 3, meditation, reflection, and prayer, so you can ask God for discernment. What's really going on? Most Christians are very committed to the Christian belief. They're not committed to God. They're committed to the Christian belief. I'm committed to God. See, because God would not have you kill someone because they're Islamic. God would not have you try to kill someone because they believe different from you. God never told me to kill anyone. So I don't know what God they're serving or what they're doing has nothing to do with me. Everybody's free to do whatever they like. I know that it has nothing to do with me.
Wow. So So, being a witch, whom are you living up to as a witch?
Source, whom I call God. Source, where everything came from. Not the God of the Bible, Yahweh, because you will find out, even if you study who is Yahweh. Yahweh, in some cultures, was simply a cultural local God. He is not Almighty God. Yahweh, who some call Jehovah. This was the God of Canaanites, and then the Israelites also took on this God. And Yahweh was the son or the progeny of a bigger god named El or Baal. And this Baal god also had a wife, just like Yahweh had a wife. And this God, Yahweh, who ordered killing of people, who would bring famines, who was all a warmonger, bloodthirsty God, would tell them, go and kill all of them, not just the men, kill the women and the children. I mean, what kind of God is this? Is that the kind of God that you want to serve? This God is a jealous God. He says, I'm a jealous God. You can have no other gods before me. Well, that in itself tells you that there were other gods. Because if you're the only God, why would you have to say, have no other gods before me? This petty God, Yahweh, who was kind of low on the rungs, he wasn't a major God, he's not a major deity by any means. If he said, have no other gods before me, because I'm a jealous God. And when you go into these people's land and you take over their land, destroy their molten images and their graven images. This is the same thing that mostly all warmongers do. They go into a land just like they did in Native Americans, just like they did in Africa, just like they do in all places where indigenous people live. And what do? Just like they did down here in Maya, where I live in Mexico, to the Mayans. They come in, they destroy all their holy books. Why? Because that's how you wipe out a culture. You wipe out a culture by wiping out their language, their linguistic ability to communicate with each other and plot against their captors or their colonizers. And you also wipe out their religion, and you hit them in the head like they did here in North America. Columbus and all these people came, hit people in the head, and said, hey, this is your new God now. This is the Bible. It's the Holy, it's the Father, the Holy Ghost, and the Son. They wiped out the mother, whereas if you read these books, just like I was reading today in the Apocryphon of John, it says the Holy Father, the Holy Mother, and the Holy Child. They wiped out the Holy Mother. So they got rid of that so the men could take over, and they could be justified in taking over, killing people, enslaving people, and doing it all in the name of God in the Bible. That's not any God that I would serve.
So, if you get the privilege to meet witches in Ghana or Africa entirely, what will be your word for them as in priority?
Could you say that for me again? It just dipped out a tiny bit. I didn't hear the whole question. I heard something about witches in Ghana.
Yeah. I said, if you had the privilege to meet witches in Ghana and Africa as a whole, what will be your word for them in priority?
I would say to keep your faith and keep your power, and do not concern yourself with other people's fears. You see, other people's fears is creating the witch camp. Why would you be so afraid of a witch? Why? This is only fear. And obviously, these people must be thinking that the witch is more powerful than them, because otherwise you would not be so hostile to witches. So obviously, the people must think, I have to come against this, I have to do something about this. What is motivating that? At the core, it is not being motivated by love, it's being motivated by fear. So what I do is I bring the love. Love is my name. I am a minister of God, which is a minister of love. I come in love. I love all people. Christian, Islam, Buddhist, rich, black, white, tall, short, Chinese. I travel the world. I've been to Kenya, India, China, Hong Kong, Dubai, Mexico, throughout the Caribbean, Hawaii, Peru, all throughout the world. I've been to many, many, many places in the world. Bali. So I've been in Indonesia. I've been in the Far East, the Near East, the Middle East, the Americas, Mesoamerica, Africa, Europe. I have never gone to a place yet where people did not respond to love. Even in China, where they say, people are overtaken by the communist government, I still communed with them in love, and they communed with me in love. Everywhere I go, there is one thing that will always work, and that is love, including kindness and compassion. And that is what we ought to be focused on, because Christ said God is love, and Christ said there are only 2 commands: love God with your whole heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Not curse and condemn your neighbor to die. Love your neighbor, because it is through the love that you are seeing God.
That's great. Do you believe there's creator and owner of this universe? And 2, where do you go from here when you are no more? If you don't believe in hell, you don't believe in heaven, where do you go from here when you are no more, Rev?
Well, the body will fall, or just falls back to the earth, to the dirt. The soul continues on. The soul came here to come to school. This whole earth planet, this is a school of many schools throughout the whole universe. This is one of the schools. There's a school, the Arcturians, Lord Arcturus has a school. The Pleiades has a school. Sirius has a school. There are many schools throughout the whole universe. This is not the only one. So you go back to source. It is my understanding. Now, I can't say that this is true. I haven't proved it. I haven't gone there and come back yet. It is my understanding that when you leave this place, you are continuing, and now you're going to continue, and you're going to return to source, your soul, and source, and you will review your life, see what occurred, what unfolded, and then you can continue to go to another school as you evolve your soul. There's an object of the exercise to evolve your soul to become a Christ.
Wow.
To become ascended, like Christ, like Buddha.
Oh, it's been so nice to have you on the program. We're taking our last message, so we take leave of you.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate that you have invited me many times to the show, and I apologize when we couldn't connect before. I am so thankful that you always give me, you're always so kind. You came all the way to our first Christian Witches Convention, and you were there with us. I also am so thankful that you have given us the opportunity to speak to your audience, so thank you very much.
Is there any way we can open one of the schools here in Ghana?
Oh, you would like to open a witch school in Ghana?
Sure.
Well, isn't in Ghana people are very afraid of witches?
Not really.
Are the witch camps still open, or are they starting to let the witches out of the witch camp?
Oh, the witch camp, I think we have 2 or 3 in the northern part of Ghana, and some has been closed, but few are in existence. It's true. But of late, Ghanaians don't believe in witches now. Things are changing.
Okay. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Maybe people are becoming more open-minded. They're starting to understand that many of the things that they read in the Bible are indeed magic. They're starting to understand things, and they're not being so afraid.
Sure. So,
well, Ghana is one of... Oh, yes. Ghana is in my ancestry also. And I will be visiting Ghana in the near future, probably maybe in 2022, 2023. And when I come to Ghana, I will absolutely have an event where we can come together and we can have the witches, and we can even have our service, our church service for the witches, and we can do some training and teaching. I would love to do that in Ghana.
Can't we do it this way? I can even send you my link live on the radio, so that when the schooling is on, they can also listen or watch it on the internet. What about that one too?
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yes, we can do that, so that we can send it all over the world, and people will be able to see it from all over the world, and then they won't be in fear.
Exactly.
Yes?
Exactly. So, Rev, thanks very much for availing yourself to the program, and I'm not sure we're going to end it here. We will pick it sometime from where we ended it today.
Very good. I will also make sure that my audience watches this video on YouTube. I know it's on YouTube. I will be sharing it all over to all of the Christian Witches pages also, so that many people will watch this and can get this vital information.
Thank you. Abusanfo, Yadi Akogu, National Service Personnel anyway. National Service Personnel, Yawajuma. You didn't come out for almost 1 hour.
Papa,
not a bontino.
May one the top
and
baby, I may say.
And okay, I'm in your money. Abusanfo say, Mamma, Benfono, and Yanina Casano. If you are da, where Digo baby National Service, and can move near D, Kiaoda free a Royal Park. Nanke hume beans no grammy. I fear. Oh, you're fine. Friends, Sam. I don't mean Uza, and you're fine. If you're not because of the microphone, I was on the mouth, but I see Mamma and your friend, Yaneno Ecasan. Also, or your sofa, Reverend, and your friend, Yanina Cassan, if America, Mamono. Now, about for him, Mamma Shiao. America, Salon. In the place, wait me up post 2 pictures. Libya, and I say minimum video no 2019. No 2018 March. And I'm not going to America, Boston, Salem. In the Volta region, or to Virginia. Or no, I Bruni. Minimum you know Shiao. And I'm a brother back, Captain Fear Not, and brother Nemo, minimum, and I call Emiensa. And I could see one. Now, when someone echoes on that, me tea and me trap plane ticket to no. Mokonako Hibi, Majuman and the Bama Becca, and Yanati. In Tomo, and I'm a friend, and I'm new Busan. Said ye a bay 4 and Yamamu in Ghana, and I be brim any abruchiri. And on no candy, dear, so only a did the woman, and I be seen a mamiso. And no Yabro Foucault, so we show Munchia. I said Beni. As a Togo, as a Nigeria, as a Ghana. Only also a bay in Ewa. It is only a bay 4 near the one idea, not just say Africa. Now, only the no way, over 20 now or the Hama in near day. The new coabro could be friends at Peru. And we call ye and Kumade, and my own Habani in Yama, and your demand to who say, Sabody and 2 me adding etim, 2 meters animating now, and our no day and Yama. Now, on to me come assembly. And I must make a chance, say, baby, ATM. Yes, you are very formal to Anajo, or Moko Biase, or Morinam, or Moja, or Moyese, no say, a no crack. A yet bay and Yama. Ah, Bronya no Musa Fenipa. But school to sa fit. We are young and come a day, or Muba Copo. Now we are no soon we do. Will be our person, we be able to near ye, Edo obey you. Wow, said to me, Bo, Banya. Just a bam bonnet, the Ekutawankasa. Now, whom a dear Jenny, a friendly Jenny, onions, almost the Yenima the brain, and in an ultimate come on as and I'm Busan say. I say, one some work can you do? I said, from Kuntras and a person would done your crystal for agony. Nobody watching your dosso, yes, sir. I'm saying, no, didn't come on walking, can't Bible ye, sir, Bob Bible didn't crammer. What be see a crystal for? Now then, I'm 1 year a bay grown mini piacasa. Baby in Bible, Musa. As a Muslim person of faculty quine. Namotia, so Namotia Christopher in Bedimachi, Namoyera Womo, Anti Christopher, no single Jayama Mambo, eh, Matia Sorika Krakadi Pedimachi, Nipa, say Bubuja. Now ye baby a baby answer, they say internet so. Quasiana no first service, not also second service near Yako, Nipa, a month for any papa, and your books, you was St. Mary book. Ya wo ho Jacob ya wo Adam and Eve book ho say book we nyin na da me kan nyin na na so say book nti wo kan we nyankoma de bi no akenka wo se da bi wo nyankoma de bi ha wo kan se de kan de yai na Christopher wo ma bo papa a Christopher kan Bible o mo de Bible na yesumi ase obedu hotel na Bible atumi wo mu a ye de nyankoma de no ye de akoto hotel krofo ko ba adwaman wo sumi na se wo eh the Bible de making kan wo Bible de wo mu tumi ye gomwa ye de sayare enu mu na yare se tumi nyina nkasa ehyemu ntimi me keka nyina bom tumi ye gomu no ene me nko na me de menimu ena me busa na ba di se asame nsem wo kan ya din na se Kristo no gi Kristo di wo se Bible no de wo gidi na nsem bi wo ha wonyi ni ebi ti se Yesu Kristo nsem nchekai When you crack, when you need on the Gidiani or Totrobos, Yakopo Boyas. Onko dinya mibia chia munko kumnipa munko kumwe enkremofoni asi ye ko jihad munko kumwe ya de som na kata ne kunkum nipa ne ade on de obade ba ko pe no di nachi na so obade nsi enfo do ene mfantre wiase udo obi a onko ene bone udo obi a onko se no udo obi a wo ye into ne de onye na dwene se obi obedi obi bone na so obi bibisa on de kwan na de nanim ene mi busa ne se nyenye bia no sa wo soro ani bu nsam je mo gidi o se twia kai me de kwani me tra wiase ba me bra de tini na modo na mbusa senti wo bra wo bo sel benfo no wan so na wo hwe na wo bo bra o se wasem wa yinya gogo na hwe no de wo do no me do ne wa do na maka ni mani sem na kire nyankopon me ma fans dodo agekwa ono ma me benfo no ma me benfo na sem wo kana no ena me busa ne se inti dia wo ye nyina no ase de wo huru kristofo bi senya de bi na eya na wo social media no so no wo se kristofo bi tro ni ma di watem ese so kwasea mi ade nti ya wo hu ya wo kan titwa kai mi hu ane mayi mani se pani awatan me de kwan o ja siriem kwa me kwa ha de na so boa wo hu da bia ba ko bi se mi hu Nigeria for so fu be mfi menu ni wo bo wachi no odunu so bubu be wu na so ya kase me kwa mi so wo so da so tiase na wo so ma sam ene die no se ma so ma sam nyina ni Nyankopon onu na me de me kra nyina ma hye wo onu ba efo ma sam awaka no no na se Ghana fo yewu na me so onyakwan na so ba Ghana ha na se bi oni abibifo ba efo na se ba efo hia wo Ghana ha de no be ye no so ba ka che so mu ni hu emfiri wo mu no mo no na dombe no munyiro mo nye ni yie nensi na ba yigro no ye ngro no frakadam omfo do na me ka chense se bia Ghana ha pese eti abenfo school ni bi wa obetimi aboa ame ate bi wa no si bo agekwa ese Ghana fo so abenfo na mo kro mo bie baabi camp bia ye bia wo mo ya abenfo e do mo kogu ho na mo so sirem na kro ya tutu bi mu a se kakra bi na mi se ho no se de nyame ase and as I said, the Ghana for Suabio, Maniate, or what's in your mass, no for the major before how. Intimate may have said the BB, a Ghana, and the Barnum said there be intimate online, and then the red with the mount. But my neighbor for who preaching let them, we are seeing now as a more can also be ye papa. Now, said, and ye know, quiet and jam papa, no, you, Massima making and say, young for dog, infantina. My entire me and say me and Woody Penny was your doctor may be a bit me kama Eddie Amain. A ho and a mini dinkra. Tia chile matches a minor side. Say, baby, I didn't come on. I could not need to see. Now, when you cattle, but I feel for baby, this never sat to us with you. Every other money. And when you have bomb and some mamma. That's it. Papa, Mafia. Moka saying na Mishia dear Barco. A dear Barcoa, Mishia, Yana say. Minim se Ghana before ena wo bo Jesus Christ dia na so mo ho metie na so abrochire before ma mi abo ensem pi so amo chasa Bible kra no eno eno ofam nsem erebo na brabo e chese le bayi a wo nyina ti wo gidi se Nyankopon bi wo honom ena no kra so da nchen a on se ogusu a wo kasa bia wo ka Bible ti minim se ba ye neguma hodo na bia ha de ne danso chai ne de a minim yesua de enka ho so mitimi nya ansa nka eni beje papa wi a met na ma na de nkomo ne se ba ye so benya bia so fo ene ya ko fo ma me rusa ye ba ne ato so ye de ma me rusa ni nkomo ye ba pe na ya de mo de ba kan kan de ma ye da mo ina ase ye ba na ya ba de ma me rusa e ba be bon nkomo miti edu enu ma me edusa e wo fia ase da bia me ka me si ye nipa ye didi ni enum ye ne yare ena eden enam ka akra na mabonti wusie nya he na ko ka bonni chese ho enya sam ke twakra atmosphere no ya politu ni na de ohunu ko mu perfume kra de gu ye ho kolon ni na no e wo hawa de mai e me ye shimu kase mami ya na we nja o epsin na na me ni oyibi no de bi wura ba fu ni na yare fufu aye wo man na tutumi chese enunti na Nyankopon so ma me edusa ne papa edusa o madwene se mo de munti nyaba ni nyani na haba no brand new snin ko yini no na mo fanye de ensayare the sense na ma me du samo e wo es omo no e ka so bi wo dru ma me du sa e wo dru wa ankoje ne ba bi efie ade ma me du sa adru obi a wo ye chinye di fo sisi ya wo sisi a chia bedu baby na trafficking I stack na driver no bie no so sisi ya je sisi ya yekum yesu sisi ya yekum papa so ko asori ya che brana ma me du sa onye wo dru titi dudo na manfo no wo krokotro mu ene na ma me du sa massacre ma e ma white na e hawo oba wuntimi wo bibie si wa wo na kwan wo si akwan ye yimi nyina firi ko men kan ye poma oto ti se ka agie obo se be ma opon adwuma pe na wa heda ro no ho na ira senso no moko bafu wo no ira ko doka se we di omo do mo oboa be ma ne koja nan mo jana be ba no na oba na hohora na no yesa be me ne gu ase ma me di sanse sa de no wa tu ase ene mema na mo jon brogo fan club mo ayemre no eno so waguru mema bu ha eni di abanji ni tuo aban tuo bebe owi wode kwai wi otapestro wi masa ba mo de ne pema mi research ra kwan na ma mi research no be din komo no de number of friend no a ono amfa papa du sa ebefa emu no mia bebre medam ase abisa ma hen
mejo so chi apomo
ye for so ma me na so e
Christian ti ode yen kwa cheye mo ani adwuma
medase
enen so bo de ya cheye
sa
na wo twi se ye ko school no complain ba kwa menya ye nti me so quickly metu one na mo no say eni pa bi wo no we chi pa restaurant for no ba Oceans chemistry for the men say the name the phone no wo mo mfa ndodo enti na wo twi na sa bo sa so to okro no eni pa no so nyama kuma se na fa ne ma na mo fro wo bo ho no ya abrewa na ni sisi akana to dem bo so ma se ngoto du no ho a edusani bi ni wa no we du fufu so sisi ya de du de ma no eni pa no ma na no afro
o se eni na ye pe
enti mo company sa na ye ma ho tete say madanse ya ka na ya tiegum kunu so ye re ba o baby wo biara
kara hase
awade
ma me sa drum foto ka no ho
me lo won to
foto ka no ho be no drum isa me bu
yo
drum to ma bre
wa
do sa ho de dase we de ye atuamo
ye say ka no nsia na atiegum
mo
de bia be fe bia be hia no
maso den me si ma ye de atuamo
me si ana no screen ya mafo bo me kodo me edusa be bia me fe me duru ha ena ana ko to bia san me ko me nya bi ba ko bi yi ma me enne me de madanse ka na toa wo twi si me ya no 20 mo no wo twi no ko cha be ho no mo kuta bi san wo daka na wo yo abusafo ye de nyankopɔ ase enen so odiyan kwa ache yen mo amie de samatrase me no bo mpa ye wate ewade ye nyankopɔ enmenyam nkawo ye ndofo no Jesus yakonne be mo yefo no mo wade ye se enmenyam na so panku bio so odiyan kwa ache yen ene fa ye mu kasa na fa ye so fa ye sabra so de ye ne da no ma ya danse no so ense ya ma no ba ye bo ache nipa ye ni se na ma nkwa ti fa nkwa bre ye wo Yesu di mu amen me da fu me di ni ma amie de sa and then what trust be me as the cap of me was some so me say a 20 year nya cheswa enti say wade aboy ye didi ye no ye ko be die e kon bia so ye be yare ye yare so aduru papa no e ya haba nu sensen enu na wo soro aka ho asem enu na wade aka say ye nyi duaba no wo soro sira so e de ma nipa ne ya ba ama enu ne duru wade agatumu me so ne nyansa ni ndie do so ne enne me mama so ho machi ye me dokun yo die wade betimi afadu samu so ayama won wa oju wa won tiase medefo sisi yade ne kokko yade etiti nipa aso plus into the sciatica na etwon aso na kokko muti na etwon ama ona ni sifo na ya wo ya eso kokko muti na ahumi ankasa ama ona setata ne do fa yekuro sisi yade nti yade wa kokko ndem wo ya baba wa ya bo abrewa wo ya brante ya bo kokora wa wo ankasa tu so wo ya fi udua so ma edusa heba misha eni edusa heba kasasa ye bone mrane se madansi enye no mane nye wadu me na meka kire wo ni ame ye deka ewade mo nya danse wo ye chinye no ewade wo mo nya danse wo na mfom nya ye dura ho mfom no ye ni ewade akasa enti ni nya meka se eduro no sisi yade na yawa numbi koko ma pesa wani saa koko nti wo kwa omini mu koko nti wo wana yema bu mse kufuru ga so kororo uja wana na mudi yi se bem eye koko etua otu se kokoro moti hu na onye ho koko nti benkata chie be pampers enye fewdie yare na aba meslo Bawa heba shop drugstore pharmacy be a bell war Ghana hano na ko pedu sa heba mesha eni ne to pay fam adusa heba capsules no so when you say what you see adusa yen case ni bi eni ebia gina no ne tobi gina no ne tobi to nsu no ne to pay no pharmacy ne ka capsules so no na say wade tia se ni abo ne mpaye ni adi na sem so ni sense wo mana ya resantre adusa so no obetimi afa so modofo no wode wo gie abro say what try say ayare say me ma aduane na so wo ji tu so yin nyame ba die e wade fa adusa so no wanyo wo bu aye kan eku na ne dworo da ne bu ano doctor say ni ka fe na aduane wo say ni akaka duro wo say ni mako wo say ni aduane bi a hihye bi say ni eku ne dworo da wo bu ano na bo ano yo na yem yawo nyawonye ka ho me say aduane eku duro nti ko pa adusa heba mesha any ne to pa ye capsules of friends so about capsules no eku ni nye bewu ama waton wo bi ye bema ya de feel sick one kadua de bia me tra radio show me tra television show me kan wasem no abefi na wow ama wo hu ya wonye enti ne ko na bado so enti woni obehia sese no sani mu eno ani ye fo no kadwo no wo bi de sick one face na ye week to we see ya bo say ai o twe ko be say be go fan club enye so die yare na aba ebetimi atumi kunu wo ba be ma ne wuhia wo ti yawo ebetimi atumi ma ne adusa se be se ni nyame wo dra yare ka yem dada sitra brabon edisa be ma yem re wo mpamu a wo ba wo ne tewa enfa ni ne ho few yare ebetimi atu bia enja bibia me ka se be ma ne wusa ne ntem no enye ne fo so yare na aba alomo 1.9 si ma ne adusa sam ko petu paye ne ka so no bito na to mixture ne ka ho yi ka so no tu hwe du sam mixture ka pona ka to ne yesa faka kapsa so ho na me na pa ni na pa ni to so be se na woche na wa fa ko face game no ewie na ko yi na benedika no femu bia na bodu se abafo abaso na ka se me so ma dance emie se da ho fo ni dio wo ba eku wo na wo ne be mixture no ya ne dwune da wa mem enti de wo ka wa no atwoto ya enye fi se eye wonam is part of your body ka wo wonam dua no aye kuro enti no ma do sam me chane ka so wo bo se wo na wo kuro ni nyina wona wato be mo so esa se dwune enti madwente no eyi mu enti no wo gina brane na sudua aba sex wo ye na kwani wo ede is sweet ede sari nya me so no so when you meet to do a unu babia wo ba no wonu ecstasy point like I say wo game e ba sa de bia ba na nchana ne bu ofo so wo ba gine mi ana ya na maratema e management ka me ba mpa gine agine obema be modi se wo be ye hodro natural ones in there e for ha bia ma oba feed your husband with enough sex man ka sex I say feed your husband with enough sex mani ni di fi na one men wakona so bi woni men kan fu ne ka tenkwaya na ni mbesan say already no oyi fu one men be ma ebetimi anu adusa no oba betimi anu ye waso ye waso magazine macro go filling station da no mu ye obi oba ntwe yi ti wa yo da no na chi ni ye wo ye obi UGC station wo say ba center ba ko ye obi sunyane atronie road you ta kwa no so Swami Municipal Assembly ya Pentecost Telesta Gate no ba ko ho o memu heba shop Freddy Mess Blazere kwa all sons hefa biem Costa Pharmacy Abia Pharmacy Kwalinak Deni heba ba bia pidan Mr. Heba Icofo ba Abiti Waya Asempa Pharmacy Yellow Orange Pharmacy ba bia ya to drogana Omemu drugstore heba shop biene enkwente na nkito tunto heba drugs ni nano we go ho say pe say ba mesha eni ni tropa bi de biato eni e de want me ta de ka ho And say about ointment. One so not to pay no count. Now the new cool so treat from cool to treat. What did you treat? Now did you treat? What did you treat? Did you treat? Yeah, me and I could have feel what to it. Now I said yes, Robano. And say about ointment in their first aid. Tibika can never treat baby. I didn't say yes, Rano. Me to move on some more than I written. Well, baby, who can hear some pains away to empty. Ah, young Cochi Jabe. And the Jabe in Kuno. Jabina can another my near the 20 can near Tinis Oklahoma, one out one. And then the idea to say about ointment. And just say, what is a boss to what done? We are Jumadina, but I'm sorry to pay him. What to try and be out in Kunislavia. I did say what then, what the choose is to choose what to do now. What to say, boss, what you say from. And so what to say about Miss Annika? Catch and say, may perhaps ointment in me. Which shall kind of examine to be? Joanna to be a few BM to say about ointment. And soon, says the young quality fear, you know the best first aid, a whopper, and some malahab, malaria drew. We not 12 you pet. No say, I was some malahab 12 2 bottles now in ya, malaria no obium. Malaria no obium, when you want to really deep. I want you so when you also say cha when you know and know that I said time we did the ato so and really now we are coming about 4 p.m. I say I will be a senate to say malaria no and 3D who want to test now who say positive Pedusa heba when malaria for the summer we see my dance ya can am say the sakasa could be our sorry at all we no so man baby biara ye the at all what the an say we better na them ade we say no chire say we better awanum me can we hold you so me ya what you say me dwan what you say mo kan je e bi ko nyanyo so so be me ya obi o you say you just see what you say this what chim what you say ni bia kam what you say mo pa mienu ju so problem what you say mak e ba ko pe edusa heba mesha eni edusa heba kasis so obedun so free woni obiara ni ha odun so obi o so you so normal data we do anadwa obedun so na dumuni nyinara wana kakama so akwadun so obi so tupai kakama menyen so obi so de so ko jira na de ni bia kem wo ha odun so wan medusa mesha me kasis so po assembly tete we be we are free makasi sia de makako ko wasa wacho makawu ntima twetwe wasam we wonam die tutu woni ade makawu wasa wacho o memasem o bema ne nsofi ba ensansa de gusuma yiwani ama bema so tia na etie mesrew wo bebu wa sebe emaya de ha no ubo mmode na nimadu sa heba mesha ani ne kasa sa yemi sese ye ho se wo be mu sese wonyem anaso makwa keto pa no fo anase wonyem afie dumienu wonyem afie obi atimi no bi woto ne sa na for ointment ne ka ho wobetimi ato sa heba mesha ne kasa ointment ne malaria no wonu ni nyina bo ma enha wo fi se ebi na kokko ni sese ya de ha wo no na intri so be ka wo awoda wo na no wonu so ato wo so nya malaria drone adusa malaria be ka ho ebi so na wo se nya ointment ne de obi ehia tobi tu na bebo apa ye che kwa Kumasi so magazine ekro go dan na mu na yewo ye ba ko sunyane atronye road nita kwa so ye ba ko ewo bantema yuti wa yodan no ye onyu na chi yewo ye ba ko Kumasi brama UG station and ye say ba ko so me municipal assembly pondo no eme afiri ye nufi wa heba shop drugstore pharmacy ba bia yewo ye nkasa so gum wo hie bia jam na tobi won't be be a number some to joy and one out to do a very active what first why you fat you know didn't come and to the man see a beer want to be BS a beer PBB winchroom a beer yadibi how by a clinic you say mechanic or melcrono you won't feed your dwa you de-analyze the system check your cholesterol with kidney with liver fat with blood fat with sugar beer or melcro your physiotherapist or bar obi ye fisu otiti wumpomo na finka sei o miemi mama massage ama wato aba ye macro die no gold and money wo ti black clinic wo we de habe nu akasa na ema wo amu akono na wo obedi adanse mi sorry your telephone number sini won't be biasa free. Mediti my meal to son. Bema na befa papa do sa ene nkasa se dia asem bia na bia na e wade betimi afa yen so no da ya sa abro timi so fa number no na yen nkasa 0500 110 115 0500 110 115 0500 110 115 when you Vodafone MTN 055 700 9824 055 700 9824 055 700 9824 the church 055 700 9825 055 700 9825 when you 9825 055 700 9824 and 055 700 9825 Vodafone 0500 110 115 0500 110 115 110 115 I mean your numbers in the juma won't be biasa what to do and one go what me afraid no one here ebbing come on you doing the house diabetes say stroke say typhoid say asthma say be how be about say about week ewo sorry me kwa you me aboa we share can no so to be me sorry na the make to ada make can say Bible say there is say in maduane the gidi na no do nya gidi ko to sa no na ennom na wade emfaso and when you dance, so we share a new design, never put the son of Cass Edison Hebala. Never just say, my dancing, everything coming among. Amen.
Yadamasi epi na yetwa yejumedie so. Achina krum, yebesre mo achina krum eben edweso ben onwe eben pinso ba ko na woni fense, kru ba ko na woni ma no. Kru no so ko tena fense. Denyina mo denyina na denyina. Denyina na ba ko so de sen. De duako mo donyina ena de duako sai kro na didi hye ne mu ba ko na mekotena ho mo amben ho nyina besre mo se cha na adwo ye nua ba na obi fa akwati kwan koku no didi doors donko akosua ana opamade no ne papa ye police ni dada no case no guso pende me se me de 100 million atoso million oha 100 million wa obetimi aboa ma prosifo ehu oni a odi sa ewu no says kanani a chede pi ewachira eyewodia ye besere mo se monhwe mo ho mensuro abanwa no odada mo ade chi no yato epono ewani mu credo kwasiada anadwo koda ya antene ka joda na credo ni da obnada na ne ma me kopesa fo ba ko di bia ohun se ye di nawu ama sekan ne da kete no so ewodem wo sekan ne mfiri ba bi ne beku mu na credo no so mfiri dem no be top na no nipa ene koye de besere mo obi a onim information bia no police station bia ben bia no fakọ 100 million edaha ehome wodia mafia me da se bodwuma
papa amanebo sesi a trese antwa krobo
o ka be antwa chiwi na
papa eyekuro na yesi eja da fie bi mu a o ma fire service a wo munya muaye etimo nko boa wo mo madaroma na we ye Natania Mafonad Bongo was a sensible witch. Hey, by 4 pound and actually Cassie Susano. Ojina sopa, Yami Aisha by Fui. Now a bonnet Samamano, or so Donododo, one man a kiss, and a woman a love emoji. Kwabina Winnie was a prophet Wamba, Mechiawo, Winnie crooning na. Sarah tells him, Papa, sell Quakinas was show life for Tonswago. Or Chinabi drugstore and Champe was a papa Yamisha, Palmo fire. Margarito the Shish was a great man, why Nina. Or say, or no DJ Margarito the Shishman, More Market, California. And we were Bimuku Hejetria tour. Papa Juahincha and Ejo Tansa. Apostle Kwame Amankwa was a Mother Teresa. Wujina so papa debia wo kasa me ya kono ya chiapa na was we free so to and cry papa we ye kofi emia was wo show life
kofi mia mabedi emi enye kofi nyanwea o kan se dokra
kofi mia
mabedi emia
kofi mia
kofi udi ni chanyi no ntimi nka udi
kofi chanyi mia no ma why
udi mabre mia no
kofi mia also was show life for United States of America Nashville, Tennessee. Or say Papa watch ya with ye. Thank you. Papa we the 3-piece.
Hey.
Was no person join me. And when see a bear yen sending an email to Obama when in casa yeno. I was say whitebernard@gmail.com.
Oh, yes, I didn't know.
I don't know. Say you call it mama me know. And I will say yeah, Mampombedu. Was it great for the Otwinoko nyansa ni mdiene kasa? Hey, Papa, Mr. English Mastic. White man pa na kasa sa no ka abrofo we di frehia and e ba no so wotie wo live. Ado Frank ado shoemaker man pola say Papa so wotie no show United States of Underpool.
Papa thank you.
Papa was say when someone will be some ma me nani ajepa. Mr. Asari Construction and Window Design.
Mr. Essel.
Oh, Mr. Essel, please forgive me.
Thank you.
Mr. Essel Construction and Window Design. Was it Father Teresa? Yeah, the Yankopon was a pa. Send them so ye da foforo. Our dear Dumano, Papa Juma dear, uni size. Would be Sako Sashoma Hoda Hopa. Yeah, that was what if I Greek Brasso. Where ye Elevation Lion TV. Was a home. Nyansan in Indiana Casa Papa. Was it wisdom and truth are divine. Na Wakasa. I know Israel is black. Was say Babylon here say oh person mu ye bibia e dey sustain a satanic kingdom omoma wa setnem was say we enya adwuma da biara da ni titu emre aye wo mu yi was say ye hu no kra no Christian ye hu se niam bi say chiwade na nantwesame na gentle cat was say papa ahintadie bi ewo wiase pa o we interview no aya kono elevation say bibia ni honom a enye dani nyina yeye anase ahohom eso we Randolph nyako was show live ewo Roman Hill Randolph say papa mpacho na nkabisa na semma me eye nsem bia sa bredie wa bisa wa bonkomo no so awie pa na wo bisa eye correct score matches enkanne ebeba amom nso se bet no betwe o matumi ehu be ye kwan so wo say hey papa say ye blow
so Ghana ni bebe ina fe de aduru o ko twaloto Ghana kesi na ho
bibia mu peloto Papa Kevin the boss player was saying edi enti no mu choose Christian witches edi ebu wiase bebrebe eno na omo pa na papa bisa na ma
eno na mi busa no se aso mu ye Christopher hoyi no so de bi mo bo kama na mi so mi se busa se won se a Christopher bi twabo ni ade so twia kai boni wu di ni mo ye na America bi nu e na hye wo mo no mi da mi hwo mi hwe manim
wa boye mfita du
se de no kran pese se de no ye betwa mo kina yabo abe force re eno dia ni se pepe
papa ri dia ni se
eno wo se dia
oh papa Papa so can say dia na ma me ma sisi mi o esi dia me siri a se ni abai force se papa Kevin say na bisa no man say wa judgment day dia papa bisa what say wansem na Saturday Jamfi was hello papa Kofi Omare was fantastic wa enjoy show me papa na Kevin say papa say ya no kura pa dia Jesus Christ atemu ho ebe ya adwuma se de enim ne na Kofi Omare no se bisa ne ma no se opeso obi search school e Ghana papa bisa na no nso so bafo champon was say papa we interview there aye the papa was say God of Israel Yahweh no kwafo okukudrofo ba kopa na hu onwanwa ebro so edenti na wo se ahohom jealous ne ho keme was Father Teresa enchia kase nkoma Ghana fo nyina mediam da so asura baifu o Linda Adubia was say nanso papa Ghana hanum yegusuwa yesu asura baifu asari bafo was a radio prophet 1 papa mechia wo enanso so ye da foforo ye ne abaifo hima ahia ye bonkomo
ene abaifo de
Yo. Near cano. Nanso so, or per se ye asie. Na ye huni se nyankopon e wo honom nyame nhyira ne papa no nhyira won so e wo program so nko ano mo aye wo so di frequenting krono wey aye volleyball ya papa kan say
Kent City
Kent City
mo afel ma wo say eba
okay
national
Kent City papa volleyball love wo se papa ye da se pa nyami onshira papa say wo fan say wo guests enne e wo show no so na wo tumi kasa ye e man audience etie no oh wo se da bia wo bedo se wo ba ne pono anu na obebomu a obebie no adwo so no no di nkomo so a na niji papa
mama be for natural
that's fine we no aba commenting wo so mo de odo na ba ye
oh be for on say abroche be yi na ni so ade Ghana fa be for so de
o ma be ye kura ya akono
din nam nyeso ko pebi jai
papa mi nko ye bi
so ba jai
na wa mana ya attractive we ye be ifo nega
e ba jo mo yanti ye o be fia mo yanti ye se de sika kon de
papa wa se bra na suro wo mu no say suro no eni hobium tinyame nhyira o na nanchi same nas gentle cardos papa efia se wo hia bibia free by for interview mo efia ada obeso ye by for ni bia na sweetheart me pese me ye by for but no kura de da hwa na waka pimp na official TV was home English way amaka ni ne amana sumo ye ne chan so wante we wanti de muka ye bia wa bo wankasa we ne hwenye yie wasi wo twimi nim so to brofo sa o nyame nso apa na wate yanim wo de asasi so de oh ye be kwaso aka o Facebook no eye Isaac Osu Blessing IK International wasi ano kwa papa hwe baifo no ne ka se wa biebie niema so o ye wo secret bi wo wa biebie so nanso ani so owu achi atemuo ewo ho Awa Muhammad wasi assalamu alaikum baba Ghana wasi wo show live na wo tie eye educative program live wo ajuso besia se woda ase Isaiah Ventures wo bie muku ha okronom edani hwe ni mu chese amenyi na ye pi na sum enyi etwetwa wonyina sale wasi ye papa wodi ese ya nhia wa engiye hudi ebeyo nyame hira pa enu nkran sansam a da bia wo de nam program isu na de mayen bafo champion se wo hu kasa wo makasa ebufuo bia ma wo ne baifo ne nkomo bom enu nti mu a mo de message si ba no bafo champion se papa ne baifo ne kasa no na nkomodie ne kura e de keke enu nti wo so de adwenkyere ba wo ma na ye de nkobu atanchie bia yesua de na we say you poku agema ifedua wose papa mechia wo ba agema ni mitie wo life for Mali da bia wo de nsam foforo breye wutu ye for power brabo nso nsemu enchia kase enka woni wo kriw na fear prince original and fake as one thing and a something wochia wo bibia we so se papa wochia pa ebra na wo bo reggae no wo feel wo vibes no na no odin KBGH wose papa mechia wo Otwinoko ye da nyame asese ne eye fiada wose fado Otwinoko nyame sho papa fabda wo ye supernatural power fado Otwinoko wose enne onimsa dako asase ebete niema wo yase otwi dako yete hanu akofa Jesus Christ ni Lucifer no abe interview wo mo wose ono ote anya ne nwanwa efisa de otumi ye edo so papa breman fie eno di free bae ima kwate wose papa mechia wo metie o life wa do ato adumanu papa ewade nya okase na na ya simple wose papa mechia wochi mechia life okro from Colombia nyame hira wunuma pa wo ye no nya okase pa opoku agima fredi wose papa wo ba na etie wuye o case na ye hu pa bafo champion na wose bisano mano about life and death and after reincarnation na we kwabena awuni prophet one bam papa mechia woni ukriu no oyibo what different be papa so show life and o enjoy show no Lineage was a papa metia wo e water for 4 miles was say kwaswa ne bie ya adwenem e won nsem ekwoso wiase ho Erika baby o se papa ya chia wo ya da nyankopon asese nnanso wo de a che yen papa ene oh ye betu se fa se play no Nyamisha papa panchaka so de Mahama Furniture Works ewo Abraham Junction uptown aside ba kope was ye for the Otwinoko Jutu nyansa ni nimdie aye ne bayfo de bonkomo papa wodi wo ye numbru on wanim wachi ahmeka wom wonni size wo ba bia mawuni ke Isaac was a young man papa wadi agro na mana yakono ye na sa da chi ekwatika mu ba bia wo betumi atwitwa agi yezei papa nyame nhyirawo wabo adwuma papa ama wotirem se no ho adwiri na wiei na wonim se English no wotume ka twist bi nwan bi slang papa we are wonderful na wose awade bekoso na waye okase sa kire se wadwuma we ye nwanwa na bru adwen ene ntiase so awa Muhammad o se papa wo ba chia watia odi oni hode Lydia o se hi papa na erade nti wo bo adwuma pa wadwuma so ofe na yeso so ye asumpa yeti papa pa chwesi
me da se epi Prince me nim se ye de impokra yeah, more voices in the be. Now, when are the pictures? No, brand of Quabe from Num Cushiano. About phone crew on Salon. Ubisru. Papa, before you. There's your Quabe for meeting. Everything you know, Granny. Sa no model net to for Obioco Bob in America. O see New York. Walk Fagita, for Conquest, no Omina some. Omaira. Cononqua. Obia did it here. I'm Mesa. Yeah, voices.
Uchiba kope. Unyansafo na tenase. Unyansafo ne kasama enyansafo ti unyansafo na ma. Unyansafo be enyansafo. Utwi ewe de udi aduru bunum. Kins na hu awie. Nyanseste na yetawachi. Ewu so ni bayfo hima na nkasa na edi nkomo no. Na wonsema obebusa no bia so hu hia pa. Bi so di kan say very good question. Bi sense obebusa no bia say twice mu. Na otwe me de mubisa bayfo ne say Africa ha ya bayfo ya omo ni panda no ya yi na no orenam mu no ana say ni bayi no bayi Africa ha de say obi na de o de fa tomu na ma no obi su di abankwan na nya onya bayi obi su di nyi de bi na me bayi na no bayi no dan kwan be so fire onya bayi a say onya tumi he say o ka magic ni nso ni bayi no sunsun ya bere dan temu yesre na wo merani na ya Africa fo abayifo eri omo ha ya adwena omo kanya lesem bi ankyere ye ti woni bayifo eri yesre oboan no mi ebie de meru so nkyere ye yise mi kwado mi surumpo yise wetimi ni bayifo di nkomo pa dia enye won wasem no bi etwa mu wo ye se wo wu a wo san sole ye yise wo ye otwi ni kwampa ti yesre wa ma bayifo nkyere no bebre mu nkyere ye na enti ase about control and the quan wa US no one community.
Hello, Papa Ghana. Good afternoon. Church Munina Church Fia Muni Subonti Munina, Munina Mo to say. Papa, yet I say, you knew my pa, we go so my Epia, my yeti as I'm for. Hey, Papa, we be you. Say, you want me yet? I be for him or US. Papa, we are boy. We are fantastic, Papa. We are too much. If you do too much, Papa, I are the young points. I mean, no women and I. Now, you're so swing you watch it. Anyone, I'm also in what you said, they be away. Papa, many sort of dog. Many sort, Papa, why are dear? I mean, so. That's a pa. Na ye busana mama say na tama you covered nearby no. E dey na wo ma beifo no o mu ehunu emu asem bia anka nkyere ye. Manwesi bye bye.
Father Bichia Emma Ahanso Kokra Father we dey medwadru ye Kofi Bio speakers repress we ye among from Barakasi Kwatempo no na Father Bichia dey nyame ase papa e wo nkwane ahonde ne ho sai o dey amai enen susu bio a yetie wo
enemy say the wabani de obeboy papa maybe be nsɛm ama ehun nsɛm a ɛkɔso owia sesese na ɔde abeya ja wo se one before ahima ebedi enkomoi abrofo be ye de migiri yesa na efe papa nti se Ghana ha de na eja no mai ne se basa be yo Ghana fo be ye basa bi ne de se nema di chese ede ye nema ense ne emfata fada da se papa se uri obi ni papa bi ni ede ye beti ni afem obane de abobra se ne se ne fata fada on fa ko ne na minchi aye Hames Furniture Works a wo ye bishe Abraham Junction hono betu a wodi nyo for ni microfinance ene di ni so so bi ma woti papa enye agrofada di adona de family na konda foda muni nyame enye adwuma
date father Otwinoko number 1 father odifo yensafo wodi onye difo otiaso do oye difo yensafo otufo odifo amon kranse odifo kan bakosam odifo chese uma nipa hu de eso ye odifo ma odi jayetio sisi ayese minam ba bikura me hoke akra best wara wo futu ntija yenu na etie futu afri ho papa tiefo ai na onsam de chese de bia na oti na mesen kase udo ye unye bi recording ai even say tanda yo sunaja ya epebi no ye krato dai bi penda wo sunaja e to to ka kra na ija da to enche ba na ija ye ni kan ye eche manum because ye manum tv e boy e futu a bi etia bo no uti mampodi na kase first na yawa father bye.
Hello papa na poma yoba ankra ni ene bojaye pa na de bayfo abasu yegusu ye adwuma ye bo adwuma pa ye adwuma oba ankra ni na bruni na oni ne kase zo ni babu bayfo no ni babu busa no o so babu so ye magic abo papa asama okay dia o ya twa asama akwa asam so bi was magic ampa enye magic anka yesua bompa ye nsenkyerani bebre o ka sempa na me mwa pa so bayfo so o bayi pa reverend mo for dia tino mo de ye no ma ye de ndi ase nyame som de amsaka aka no ma ba le ka se kai nwi obani yegusu bo adwuma na menka ho pa lepachoba
obi fo kobna sare papa eya obana na the shoemaker anomanji polasi okwie dasi no da nsema odi emayen okwie hu pa e bia meka we different okwi o bad ma papa ense mi die na zebrofo no watie fo birimunte ke ba me na kwa so ba na ma be chire mu bia so active opi waya de mu ponchira o ya wodane da nipa ubie yani ya obana na de shoemaker anmanji project loko bia o
Sinetri, good afternoon. Inokini, Otieme Nkache. Senior, asem na one ma American about witchcraft ne, and witchcraftness no crowd in one many shit. But mainly interest for heaven and hell na ma American. Senior, I mean we have been deceived for many years. See a bejedi say heaven and hell ewo. Senior, heaven and hell intention kwasi asema ekoso Africa. Heaven and hell intention kwasi asema ekoso ewo bibinemu. Bruni now no the heaven and hell don't buy any shady or yamani crew. Even though you be born in crown or a philanthropist or ya in ye. See, you send a more environment, send them to a unipa. You cry, yes, ya JD say heaven and hell crown, from Cosas Mary. See, say, you beg ye, a brass says you say heaven and hell, you know, a deception, they are down on the buy. Me a boy, a brand, me a doing your see home, me and teach in your last young time year. You say Africa, Bokoso. The witchcraftness may be in family, but heaven and hell, this animal, no senior, it doesn't exist. To me, more a bra, near more bra, pack, and that should be a body in here, which may be saying it's me now, contact people be a boy, man, you know, cocofony, that's it.
Father Michemo, hey, Father, the area as a mobile. odi drama no ne we broni beifo broni beifo na no awo papa na no ate na no so de ne brofo ye we de brofo be ye pa na efese ka kasa no kura Ghana beifo jimi nko ha Ghana beifo odi we na Ghana be ye say tan fada mu nyame enye adwuma
lo Jacobra ajama iche busu anyina ajama ni adwuma obo abaso ensa de beko so abo abaso eja de ayo bi enwanwa de bia ne ne oneba e ka radio mu professor radio mu intelligent radio mu lion eja ye kinkon tese de bia ne ne oneba na ye ni so ne woye eja Kobra tese me ti radio me ni agia ni hu nyame ho eja ye mfa kwan we su ne mu abaso Meneketu o say ya trase ya bia mu po ayetio eya wadi nyina titi kamara eja bo adwuma ne do avia baba
Pertaita Otwinoko eke bitam Ghana oti fere bata ko to koma gro mi do tele tiwa oti peto baye ade na yaze abochefo de ende omuri ade pa na Ghana de ende omuri win penam na omuri sade edidi nzamfo o Ghana na abuche beye de omudi ekomu mo ebi ye play ebi ye shape ebi ye no magazege ne Ghana de semfo nguni beye ne nam ne mujanam ne independent go omudi we ntese otwi chemu ko wu na ofe no chemu so
Petwan Bibla Prophet DJ Magalite de Sesemai Mall Market ya bode na yitio Prophet Ghana by 4 dia eni dia nsinhunu na ya edu nsinhunu we na we akori we ati we ase we enu kwa ni enim kasi ai bi ba mo enkra by 4 edi ombe ye ya de pa no ye de nsinhunu ni pa nam ne ye dewe any prophet any prophet kuni nyam po mo adwuma na Ghana by 4 do mati a studio ko mebo ro ho
Ochi good afternoon median kepo because afli for the mampontin Ochi enumle se de nyame ase se ewiabele mu wo mwame nyina ye hia mu na ma minister ma any interview a wo ye wama me ho adwire me na imo muhwetire no ma wakyerɛ sɛ ewiase nyame efre ni pani enti we ne kame sɛ ewiase nyame ene efre ni pa bi mu eni a ene ama omu hu no kure kwan bisa wakyerɛ sɛ wasiesie eja ama abaneyefo ani ni kyase ni pa plakopani wo no kyina atemu wo honom there's a judgment unipe biara se uwa uko say heaven hell se de bidin kan se o se ewiase nyame ebe fle nipa bebre eni sa na ne eko otwimi da se me de besia enkoso bo adwuma kajagum
Ochi we normal we before now we suffer normal because so we before crowd me hu man so man for also we before na hard and titina first papa also be before now we so na keke na hu onyo some class me man kemo se se ye ne bie papa sana metimi aka ye ne bie system na room no obi a ne bie so before nti baby we before na suffer normal papa normal na ko pesa papa dia se ba asem ye di papa na papa o kona se sumu wode e na ko hu se America ba ifo bi o ko fana de interview papa na ko pesa yeti onyame electric cord konkomase na ko pesa
papa o twi mi won ha wie ya misra papa papa bi o kabrofo ti se broni America broni pa o ya de ya misra na o me ye hunu se de Ghana abaifo esiti ehunhun ayefa enya brochiri baifo azusu ya dantam na me man quotation bi bibusa no Exodus 22:18 Exodus 22:18 bibusa so wakenka hoda wase ema oba baifo entrance enti bibusa se wakenka hoda ana
Otwinoko de chiamu na odi ajamu baba ni de odi bawi ase de nyi bi ni o why dear papa this is the video before him interview them aba Otwinoko no mu so no omu na mu dia brosa de ya have also dia buriana me yeso so ndo me sa ko mati asore a omu ti babudi oti baba awon kan wa ajamboro salifu eni na mu no ntra